We got a lot to cover today. I like to think I pick my words very carefully on this channel. That's why when I said there's no faster way to get unalived faster than fucking with Doc, I used the word faster. There's weirder and worse ways. Today, we're talking about military officers. If you don't know, traditionally throughout history, it was frowned upon to target officers in combat. Then this guy came along and pretty much exclusively targeted officers. After that, it was basically standard practice for everybody. But don't get me wrong, a grunt officer will usually fuck you up just as good as any of his grunts. He might be the only person that does more damage in his absence than in his presence. While most militaries, when the officer's taken out, they will either surrender or fall into chaos because they don't have leadership and don't know what to do. The American military has a tendency to be what I like to call default aggressive, meaning that with a lack of instruction, they will just resort to destruction. Meaning they're just gonna start handing out fucking ass whoopings to everybody. The minute LT goes down, those grunts are just gonna look around like, so take out everybody? Yep, You see, the officer is probably the only guy on the battlefield that gives a shit about things like cost and excessive use of force. And you just took him out, so that's not fucking good for you. What I'm trying to say is the grunts got techniques. They got shit you ain't never heard of. They got shit you're not gonna be around to tell anybody else about. You're about to become past tense, it's just a matter of how. Don't get this twisted, you can still end up in the fucking dirt if the officer's still on the field. What I'm saying is the officer acts kind of like a regulator. Uncle Sam's condom, if you will. You see, when the officer goes down, it's kind of like rolling a 5 in the opening play of Candyland, where you get to hit the rainbow shortcut right here. Except instead of getting a head start in the game, we're just jumping straight to all the weird, irregular shit these grunts can come up with. You know, all the shit Geneva never thought of. But to find out the hard way, it's never a war crime the first time. I can't stress this enough, this is not synonymous to only grunts. For example, does anybody else remember a couple years ago when the United States Air Force decided that they needed to drop the MOAB bomb? MOAB being an acronym for Mother of All Bombs. The bomb that's 30 feet long and 22,000 pounds. 18,700 pounds of which was straight TNT. Bomb so fucking big, the only way they had to deliver it was by pushing it out the back hatch door of a fucking cargo plane. And while I can't be sure, I'd be willing to bet my lunch money that the Air Force officer was out that day and some E4 got to make the call on what they were dropping. When the grunts called for fire and reported that there was enemies on the mountain, E4 said something like, "Fuck that mountain. We'll just get rid of it." Delete. But wait, the Navy also does this shit. How about that time during World War II, when the USS Texas flooded half of its hull to change the angle of its guns so that their rounds could reach further inland, because fucking America. And all this is just if you take out the officer. Leave the guy in play and then the grunts have appropriate leadership. I really don't fucking know which is worse. Now, all that aside, officers still have a very, very important job. Leading the United States military. And while I've never done it, I have to assume it's like herding cats. If the cats were 185-pound athletes with drinking problems and machine guns. So, in conclusion, if you're an enemy of America, I really don't know what the fuck you should do about the officers, because you're gonna get fucked up either way. Thank you for watching this video, I hope you enjoyed it. If you'd like to buy me a beer, there's a link to my beer fund in my bio. Thank you for your service. Holy fuck, I'm out of shape.